What's up, buddy? How's the tribe doing?
2-2, top of the ninth. Just brought Claus in. Hopefully, he's going to shut it down here. We're going to have a walk off here in bottom of the ninth.
Um, have you been able to get to an Indians or Guardians game yet?
I haven't yet this year. Just been busy, but like too soon. It's that time of the year. It's nice.
Yeah, right. Are you a season ticket holder for them too, or no?
No, no.
Just the
That's too many
Browns.
games, too far of a drive.
Just the Browns, which we're getting close, man. We're getting close.
It's
How
almost football season.
79 days, I think is what it is.
Whew.
That's
That's close.
let's do the math. 1 week, two,
Then
three,
only
four,
2 days,
five,
79.
6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I'll be seeing you in 11 weeks, my friend.
Heck yeah, man. I can't wait.
Dude, that's gonna be a crazy season opener. Browns Bengals for you guys, home opener, season opener. That's a
Start off
war.
with bang.
Like Deshaun Watson coming back after a full, I feel like full training camp, full preparations with the team, and then you got the Bengals just coming in, rolling, and Joe's actually like looking healthy and big. Joe's looking like a middle linebacker right now.
Looking stout. He's definitely been hitting the weight room this off season.
Yeah, doesn't he? Dude, he looks like he didn't have an appendix surgery for sure. Um, yeah, I'm excited for NFL this year. Speaking of NFL, we haven't had very much NFL news, but we do have a little bit to talk about today. There's two players that I think right now could be difference makers on any team. So we'll start with Dalvin Cook, released from the Vikings and is a free agent right now. And weirdly, no one's like hopping on it. What's your thoughts on that one?
It sounds like money's been a big driving factor for him, and coming off an injury. I mean, he hasn't been injury plagued, but he hasn't played a full season in several years at this point. He's missed a few games the last few years. I don't think anybody wants to pay up for a washed up running back at this point. And he says he's stronger and better than ever. You're gonna have to take a little 1 year prove it deal somewhere and go prove it. You won't get paid again. You gotta prove that you're healthy, you're not damaged goods.
Yeah, and it's hard too because he's also Zeke's still on the board. So
Yep.
you think like, all right,
Kareem
wh-
Hunt.
which is Kareem still, or is he not fully back with the Browns yet?
He's still a free agent.
Do you think that he's going to stay though in Cleveland? He's just kind of waiting out for more money.
I don't know. I read there were a couple of other teams that were actually inquiring about him, interested in him recently, and the Browns are willing to run into next year with Jerome Ford at running back too. They are interested in signing another running back, but the one thing I saw, and I believe it was Mary Kay, so you never know with what she says, but Browns are interested in bringing in a running back, but it is not Ezekiel Elliott or Dalvin Cook.
Interesting, very interesting. Again, I think either one of those two backs. I mean, you throw Kareem, either three of those backs are starting backs, at least workload backs for a couple of these teams. I think um, I feel like the Dolphins could use a guy like Dalvin Cook. I feel like the Bills could use a guy like Dalvin Cook.
Definitely fit in Miami well and improve their team.
Yeah, right. I do think Dalvin Cook would. Isn't that a? I mean, right? I think that's a could be a real possibility.
Florida kid, played for the Seminoles, wants to be back down south.
Yeah,
I
that's
mean,
a lot.
it seems like
Talk
it's
about
true.
a different climate change from Minnesota down to South Beach.
Whew,
That's nice living right there. Could you
that's a
imagine?
bonus. So,
Could you imagine? I mean, playing football in Ohio, I'm glad I got to experience that. That's like a different thing in itself. But like Minnesota, I feel like that's a whole different bird right there.
man, we get snow in Ohio, but it's nothing like the stuff they get up there.
No, not at all. Like, I think I still remember my first like practice ever, and it's snowing, and I ended up being in shorts because it like kind of snowed in the middle of practice, and I was just like Florida boy, like, what have I what have I done? That's why I also quickly learned that you can't you can't just go right into a hot shower after snow. You have to gradually I spent the whole dinner just itching my legs after that. That was terrible. Um, yeah. What other teams do you think that Dalvin could end up at?
And I know they said that they really think Cam Akers is going to be an every down back this year, but the Rams could use a running back.
The could use a lot of little pieces. I feel like they kind of had an off year this year. Um,
Mm,
I feel like they're a couple pieces away from really just doing something special again.
yeah. Uh, Tampa Bay.
Tampa Bay needs someone. What about like the Cardinals?
Yeah. I mean, they gave up DeAndre Hopkins for broken, busted knee David Johnson. Maybe they're ready to overpay for another injury plagued running back.
Yeah, which then brings us to our next player. You brought him up, DeAndre Hopkins, man. Where I did just see it come out that DeAndre Hopkins is closing a deal. This was from a Cincy reporter. Closing a wants to play with a Cincy rival, so I'm guessing AFC North team. Um, is that
I'm
the
on.
is that the Browns? Is that the Browns?
And I know that Deshaun Watson said that he'd restructure his contract to be able to offer more money to DeAndre Hopkins. Love to team back up with him again. Mari Cooper said that he'd be interested in playing with him. He thinks that they'd make each other better. Man, I don't see any reason why we don't make this happen.
I mean, DeAndre Hopkins was at one point I know at least in fantasy football, the top like receiver in the league. He had like a ridiculous stat line.
Didn't he like not drop a ball for an entire season or something like that?
No drop season. Texas sets record for 0 drops, 2019.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. Over the past 3 seasons, he has dropped only 3 passes on 315 targets.
That's insane.
It's not
Every one
like,
105.
yeah, it's not like saying, oh, he only had like 50, 60. Like, dude, 315 targets?
That's they're throwing on the wall.
1%. Lowest drop rate among 62 wide receivers. That's unreal. I mean, and you're telling me right now that this guy can't find a team? You're telling me right now that he wouldn't make a team absolutely better? I think he'd be absolutely dangerous in the AFC North. I think if Baltimore or I think even if the Steelers picked him up, give Kenny Pickett another, and you got George Pickens over there too, like that would be nuts. Like I feel
Yeah.
like any team in the AFC North that gets that man just
Sets them
crazy.
apart a little bit.
Oh my God. 100%.
I know I'm just biased. I'm thinking about Cleveland, but you got Hopkins out wide on the left, Cooper out wide on the right, Elijah Moore in the slot,
You still got in
Joku at tight end.
Njoku, I'll say. Njoku, you still got him.
Stop all those weapons.
And then Chubb. You got to worry about Chubb.
Yeah. And then you spread him out and just hand the ball off to Chubb with that offensive lineup that all and he runs 10 yards before he's touched.
Yeah, the Browns have a chance to really be explosive on offense. I guess really for them, it just comes down to their defense if they can hold teams, which I think, the Browns have always had a stout defense. I mean, your up front has always been pretty good, at least pass rushing too.
Yeah. Tackles were pitiful last year.
But that's a dangerous offense you're listening there though. Well, I think it's safe to say that if I'm a betting man, which I am, I would say DeAndre Hopkins goes to an AFC North team, and I think Dalvin Cook goes to Miami. I think those are my two hot picks for where those two guys are going.
The other big free agent that could change any team. We haven't talked about him in a few weeks. When do you think it's time for Tom Brady to jump back in the spotlight?
Well, he's about to be a part owner for the Raiders, I heard. Is that a real thing or is that some fake news?
Rumors about that. Think we'll have our first NFL player owner?
I mean, what's the rules between that?
Have no idea. But if there aren't any, I'm sure he's going to try it. You can't tell me that Brady, after 2 weeks of who's their quarterback out there now?
Baker.
They got rid of Carr. Who is it?
Oh, you're talking about what is
Las Vegas.
oh uh Garoppolo.
That's right, Jimmy G. After 2 to 3 weeks of Jimmy G doing nothing because he's not in a Bill Belichick or Kyle Shanahan system anymore, that Tom Brady wouldn't just get mad. Man, screw this. I can still do better than this by myself.
I
I
mean,
could just see him showing up on a Monday morning, not showing up, being there waiting for everybody in practice uniform, just ready to go.
Tom
Hey
Brady.
guys, I'm QB1 again.
Tom Brady is never out of it.
One of the most competitive dudes on the face of the earth, and that hates losing more than anyone else. So I wouldn't be surprised if he became part owner of the Raiders. If there were a few bad Jimmy G games, if he just didn't decide to suit up himself.
Hmm. Trying to think, when did Aaron Rodgers get drafted?
39,
2005. So he's 5 years younger than Brady. It's just funny because Aaron just looks older.
Oh, for sure.
I don't know what blood magic that Tom Brady is, what potions he's sipping on. I don't know if it's really his diet or what it is,
It
but
works though.
it definitely works. He looks a lot younger than Aaron. I think it could happen. Again, I think it's shown. The amount of times that Tom Brady has quit and then come back, I wouldn't be surprised. And then I could see Gronk coming out of retirement again too, being a Raider,
Yeah,
then just
their
partying and
offense are probably feeling better right now. Liver's probably a little hurting from all the extra drinking.
them just partying up in Las Vegas.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I I wouldn't be surprised. I don't think so. All right, switching gears. Breaking news on the trade: Bradley Beal for Chris Paul. I mean, I don't know what to think about. I think I know what to think about that. I feel like because it was a pretty just straight up trade. There was no like draft picks or anything for it. So, um, I don't know who got the better end of the deal there.
Oh, for sure, Phoenix. I mean, Chris Paul's what, 38 years old at this point? And he held him back in a lot of ways. And I think there were a couple other pieces in that trade. I don't remember exactly all off the top of my head right now. But man, Beal, Booker, KD, and Aiton. It doesn't even matter who the other guy is. That's pretty ridiculous. That's a squad right there. Another thing that I found interesting. There were two guys, either coaches, front office, father son combo that were involved in that deal. One's involved for Washington, one for Phoenix. The dad was in Phoenix. I joked with my boss at work today. I said, man, I almost feel like that was like a Father's Day present. Like, yeah, we'll take Chris Paul and his contract and his old broken ass off of your hands, and we'll give you Bradley Beal on top of it. Go in the West next year, Dad.
Dude, I don't know. I feel like you're right. I feel like the Suns get the better end of the stick there. I don't know, but I also hear that there's rumors that he could be going back to LA.
Playing with LeBron.
No, Clippers.
Ah,
That the Wizards are trying to transfer him to the Clippers. Like there was like a more to this. I think this more that's going to unfold from this.
the Wizards, Clippers, and Rockets now have been basically just passing around point guards for the last few years because they've
Right.
all three had CP3 now. John Wall played for all three teams, and so did Westbrook.
Yep.
Hasn't worked out for any of the three teams yet.
Yeah, I feel like at this point they need to be like, all right, guys, we're just gonna throw everyone in on one team, and at least one of us look like we know what we're doing here.
Yeah,
Um,
sometimes whatever works.
yeah, right. Yeah, I would say I agree. I think the Suns get the better deal. You get a younger guy in there that is, I think, definitely. I don't even think he's reached his kind of full potential yet. I think he's just been kind of developing and developing each year. And I think you now put him on a team that's already kind of got a lot of pieces. I think you're right. I mean, the Suns, the last 2 seasons, the Suns have been, a dangerous team in the West. And now you got this. It's like, I mean, I think they're chasing a championship right now. I think they also saw what the Nuggets are doing. Like, and I think that they've taken stock in that and saying, okay, that's the team we got to beat, And then you got other guys like Draymond Green just declined his contract and how he's going into free agency. What's your thoughts on that one? Because I think it's stupid.
He tweeted out in response to, I believe it was either Sports Center or ESPN, one of the big companies tweeted about him declining his player option, and he responded to that tweet by tagging LeBron James, saying Taco Tuesday at your place tonight. So
Wow.
Draymond just trying to go down south a little bit, move from Oakland down to LA. Apparently.
Wow. Could you imagine those two? I mean, LeBron needs it. I feel like LeBron needs just a goon. I feel like he needs someone that's just gonna just go and do dirty work for him. I mean, that's what Michael Jordan needed with Dennis Rodman, and look what happened with him. Um, that would be a crazy move. But I mean, I feel like at that point, if you're Draymond, you can't be expecting a lot of money coming in then, because
$7.5 million.
I feel like your value was higher in Golden State because you had put in time there. I feel like you leave Golden State, you're giving up a lot of money, and you're just at this point you have to pick a team where you think you can win, right? Like you have to, like you can't just go to a team that doesn't have superstars already. Because I don't think his stock's that high right now. I think he fit in well with Golden State because you had Curry, but I don't think that.
And with
Yeah.
Golden State well after knocking out Jordan Poole in the preseason last year.
Yeah, and that
Poole money signed him to an extension right before that.
Yeah, and I feel like that. I mean, you look at all that kind of off-course stuff. I think that really was leading to kind of like the downfall of the Warriors this year. There was a lot of in-house drama going on.
Yeah.
I think the Lakers would be a good team for Draymond, but yeah, I don't think he gets what he was going to be getting in Golden State. I think he definitely gets a pay cut.
I feel like if you surround those two guys with a couple shooters and another big, that's a championship team right there.
Yeah, and do you think that, all right, say Draymond goes to the Lakers, right? Does that make the Lakers a contender?
No, for sure. You got Draymond, LeBron, and Anthony Davis. As much as I'm not going to sit here and act like I love Draymond Green. I haven't been able to stand the guy as a Cavs fan.
Right.
He's the type of player you hate him if he's on the other team, but man, he's one of your favorite players if he's on your team.
Right.
And I
But
respect the game, respect him as a player. But man, I think between 2016 and 2019, if I would have come across him in an airport, I'm taking my one swing and I'll get my ass kicked afterwards.
Dude, he is a menace, absolute menace. Um, do you think now I've also heard, speaking of Lakers, I heard there might be some stuff in the works for a couple ESPN guys are saying that the Spurs should go after Austin Reeves.
Ooh, AR-15.
But what
But
do
the Lakers have said that they're going to match anything up to what was it, like $100 million or something like that for him.
yeah, something outrageous. I mean, I feel like he
Does
kind of
everybody
proved
get $100
himself.
million nowadays? Like, I mean, that I know Austin Reeves is good. He's exciting, but that's a lot of money.
Yeah, I feel like um he kind of proved himself this postseason, but I feel like now he's kind of worth now it's like his stock went up. So it's like, all right, like the Lakers are gonna want something from him. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not just gonna be a I don't think that's a player trade unless it's like one of your star players. But the Spurs are in a weird position too because they get the first pick. But I feel like you don't give up
The
that
Spurs
first
could just
pick.
offer him more money
Yeah.
than LA wants to sign him for, and then he goes to San Antonio. No trade involved. So
Yeah, that could definitely also be a real possibility. Yeah, I
like
feel like it's getting
exemption
crazy.
or whatever they get for
Yeah, I feel
allowing
like
restricted free agents to go to another team. I don't know if it's a trade exemption or get supplementary picks like the NFL. I'm not sure exactly how it goes, but
yeah, I'm not sure how that works either. But I think you're on to I think you're right. I think something like that would definitely have to be in the works. I mean, honestly, with this whole Bradley Beal Chris Paul trade, this already started off, and again, with a lot of the players declining their player contract, like looks like there's going to be some crazy moves that are happening in the NBA, man. It's gonna be exciting. Gonna have to keep the updates Twitter feed open. See, because I feel like that's how you find out about trades is
that's
Twitter right now.
bomb or the Woj bomb.
Yeah, Twitter is the quickest place to get your news. Thank you, Elon. All right, I know you wanted to. Before we kind of get on to the last topic, I know you wanted to touch on, one. I mean, when I say last topic, I mean non-sports related topic, which is different for us. But you want to talk about the Reds' hot streak. Talk to me.
Yeah, I think they've won 8, 9 games straight since they pulled it up. Ellie De La Cruz, the top prospect in baseball. And the guy's a 6'5" shortstop that just set the record for from like home to third base in a baseball game for speed. Hit a ground ball, I think yesterday, 2 days ago, to the first baseman. Wasn't bobbled. Dove head first, just beat the first baseman to the bag.
That's fast.
He just hit his second bomb of his career now in the last 9 games today. Guy's just an animal. I mean, it's just crazy how much he's changed that whole program by coming up there and just being a spark of life. They're
Um,
like, man, we got
a
we
struggling
can win
team
this
too.
game. What was that?
A struggling team too.
Oh, they were one of the worst teams in baseball before he got called up. And like the last week and a half, they've been arguably the best team, the hottest team in baseball. And you can't, in my opinion, contribute that to anything else other than just his excitement and his level of intensity and what he's brought to the team.
Switch hitter too. I think that's
Yeah,
impressive. Uh,
and he's gonna look weird in Yankees uniform in about 4 or 5
I was
years.
about to say, I was about to say, is this like the second coming of like Derek Jeter and Alex Rodriguez right now?
Maybe an A-Rod type, yeah. Like just the size, the speed, arm strength. They're really him and O'Neal Cruz in the last 2 years. They're both 21, 22 years old from the Dominican Republic. De La Cruz is 6'5". O'Neal Cruz is 6'7". They both throw the ball across the infield at 98 plus miles an hour. Both insanely fast. Like they're just unlike anybody we've ever seen in baseball before.
Yeah, I mean, when you got someone who's that fast, right, can run out a ground ball to first base, like that's that opens up a whole new realm for baseball. And then you got a guy, and then not only that, but can play the field really well. Which again, anywhere I think if I mean besides first base, I think you go, you know, second base is tough, shortstop's tough, but even third base, that's a long throw to make. And these guys are only getting faster. So if you have a guy that can play those positions at a high level, I mean, like you said, the stock goes up, right? And then you start to say, okay, well, how long can the Reds keep him, right? A team that historically, I mean, it's kind of similar to like the Marlins, right? Like they have their good years and then they go and fire sale all their players. And, I think Votto's really been the only staple for the Reds for, a long time, but the Reds are known to when a player starts getting good, they have a run and then it's like, all right,
Walk
we're getting
off
rid of
it.
him.
Sorry, got distracted. I started hearing the voice, that sweet, beautiful voice of Tom Hamilton.
Oh, what happened? Anything?
I just heard "Walk Off Cleveland."
All right, there we
Walk
go.
back, the fireworks going off.
All right. Well, hey,
A
let's
party
re-
at Carnegie in Ontario tonight.
let's get this show on the road then, so that way you can get back to watching this. The thing I want to talk about wrapping up, uh, missing submarine,
Dun 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 dun.
dude. I didn't even know about that this was a thing. Imagine spending $200,000 to go down and visit the Titanic, and you're stuck down. Like this is the start of every deep sea horror. The amount of deep sea horror movies that I've watched that are like, oh, we're gonna go explore this really deep part of the ocean, and we're gonna go and check it out. And
Nobody's ever been there and made it back alive.
then it's like big octopus, crazy aliens, massive shark. Like, what are we doing here? And I was telling you before we got on, there was a deep sea diver who they were interviewing. They were like, so they were trying to, and I think the interview was meant to give people some hope. And this guy was like, you are talking about parts of the ocean that barely anyone's ever been to. And they're in a machine, a sub that just got built. It is not looking good. And you're like, oh, dang, this guy just like dropped a fat truth bomb. But man, the Titanic still just, I think that thing's cursed, man. I think we need to leave that thing alone.
Hey, I mean, there wasn't a ton of publicity about this beforehand. There's no way to prove what's going to happen to these people, or no one will be able to go down and find it anyways. I mean, it was a great way to fake your death. Several of the people on there were billionaires.
I mean, you have to have a lot of money if you're going on that thing, right?
Yeah.
This is going to be like the first trip to Mars if we ever get that settled out. Like,
Elon's only a few years away.
yeah, it's just going to
Hope
be a
he
bunch of rich people who are
to buy
wait,
Dogecoin up there while he's there.
yeah, who want to fake their deaths. And they're like, all right, we're going to go to be on the Mars. And then all of a sudden it's going to explode. But they were
Yeah.
never on it.
But
No,
I'm kicking it.
not, yeah, but not to make light of the situation. If this is real, it is definitely a tragedy. But wow, talk about, I mean, is that even something you would want to do? Right? Like, I don't even,
Oh, that does not sound fun.
no. I mean, I'm deathly afraid to swim in the ocean at some points. I'm afraid to like. I mean, I've seen enough. I mean, I've seen Jaws. Okay, I've seen movies. I've seen. All right, it's like that movie, Caged, where these deep sea divers go in a cage, and then the sharks are
Why
like,
would you do that?
I got no. I mean, I've watched Shark Week. There was that guy in Shark Week recently who was in like a plexiglass thing and almost died. It's like, I got no. Why are you messing with that? That's like,
Yeah, if I want to see sharks, I'll go to the aquarium.
yeah. I just feel like that's just dangerous. I get the adrenaline junkies want it, but like at that point, that's not even like adrenaline, right? Because you're getting in what's supposed to be a submarine, and you just spent a lot of money to go look at a sunk ship. Like that just doesn't even sound like that. Just sounds like you were spending the money that you had It didn't seem like an adrenaline rush right there. I mean, I could see if someone was like, "Oh, we're gonna free dive down there," but this just seemed like you were just going down there just because you had the money, and now it is dangerous, and now it's your life's on the line, and that's terrible. Like I said, I hope they're okay, but wow, this is crazy that I would never do it. I wouldn't do it.
No, thank you.
No, not you will not be seeing me again on any submarines um anytime soon. No, no intentions. Like you said, I can watch a movie about a guy getting on a submarine. Um well, there's that movie Widowmaker. That was about a submarine that got blown up. I don't have any that's what I'm saying. You are underwater in a tube. No way out.
There's a
If you're
lot of outcomes that can come out of that. Only one of them is you coming back up from the water, and all the rest are bad.
Yeah, right? You have one option that's good. You have millions of other options that lead to death.
Yeah,
I don't want to roll that dice. Like I said, I'm probably already gonna die early anyways. So the
you
last thing
might
I
as
want to do,
well house money at this point.
yeah, I'm playing with house money right now. The last thing I want to do is gamble on me, my fat butt in a sub. Um, all right, everyone. Well, thank you so much for tuning in. Drop your comments below on if you agree or disagree with any of the things we talked about today. Please continue to like and share. We're growing, and it's because of all of you. So thank you all so much for all your continued support. And if you'd also like to be a guest on our show, send us a message. We're always looking for guests and people that want to talk sports and give their unfiltered opinion. Again, thank you all so much for tuning in. And as always, remember, keep the change.